Welcome to What the Flick. Ben Mankiewicz, Alonso Duralde, Christy Lemire for some reason in the middle, Matt Atchity.
I need my mans around me.
I don't like change.
Don't be afraid of change.
So, Beautiful Creatures is, I don't want to steal your thunder, I know you're going to describe it, but it's your teen supernatural romance. I couldn't have been less interested to see this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, if you saw the trailer, you probably think you're something else from what you're going to be getting. It is based on a popular young adult novel, go figure, and it's set in a sleepy town in South Carolina, and a young man is a junior in high school, and he's itching to get out and see the big world, and one day, the rarest of things happens. He gets a new face in his class, and it's a young lady who has moved into the creepy old mansion on the edge of town, and he is immediately drawn to her, only to find out that she is a witch, or as they prefer to be called, casters, and she's about to turn 16, at which point her true nature will determine whether she will go to the dark or the light. So if this sounds like Harry Potter meets Twilight, well, yeah, kind of, but it's more interesting than that. Check it out.
You want to be like a normal human? What do you think that is?
Yeah, I like the two of these guys together, right? And they're both kind of new actors. Alden Ehrenreich, who is the young male star of it, was in Tetro.
Right.
And I remember liking him in that. I didn't really like Tetro, but I remember liking him in that. And then the actress, Alice Englert, is Jane Campion's daughter.
Right.
Oh, really?
And there's like this lovely kind of naturalism about her that I found really appealing. And they feel like actually awkward teens.
Yeah.
And they aren't slick and ironic.
And they actually have, they don't look at each other and immediately swoon at first sight. Like they have to sort of win each other over. They're kind of prickly, and it's one of those movies that a lot of times screenwriters love to fall back on the characters who fall in love over their shared love of literature, and usually the actors playing it never are convincing that they've read a book in their lives. And these two actually, you feel like, okay, yeah, I think maybe you have read Bukowski and Slaughterhouse-Five, and so that really kind of anchors the movie in a very sort of realistic way, so that all this other crazy witch shit can be going on around it with the British actors chewing all the scenery, and the balance of those two things winds up being really kind of fun.
Yeah, I believed them right from the start. I loved him. I thought he was he was exactly the kind of guy who girls would like in high school.
Every junior in high school is going to have to live up to this completely unrealistically written kid, which I thought was fun and charming.
I didn't think it was unrealistically written. I know those kids. And he was goofy and he was charming and he had a centered sort of sense of self. I did buy him, and I did buy that they would like. Of course, and what struck me most, I think, was that, of course, no question, that kid would like that girl from the moment she got there.
Yeah, she's different.
She's
right.
like, who's that? It's different. I need something a
You're
little different.
not from here.
You're not from here, but he's not. But he's not
from here, are you?
But he managed to sort of be disdainful of where he was from. Not so much disdainful. Wanted eager to get out, but not a dick about it.
But you also saw him
respectful of where he came from and the town and the people. And
I like this movie too, and one of the things I liked about the character, as much as I don't think that anyone actually speaks the way he does, I like that it was a good example of somebody who doesn't just go with the crowd. Like, this is what kids should do, right? Like, when all the other girls and everybody else is bullying the new girl, they're being shitty, like, he stands up for her in his own way and kind of like basically tells the rest of them to go fuck themselves, which I kind of liked about that, right? I thought that was cool.
Yes, he does. But he did it also. But he did it in a way that didn't. When he said "go fuck yourselves" to the other ones, he didn't do it in a way that we really. He was like, "Go fuck yourselves." Although you're still my friends, and I understand where you came from and why.
Right. It wasn't mean.
But he's not mean.
It's a delicate balance.
It's a delicate balance, hard to pull off, and I thought the screenplay did that.
Let's talk about crazy ass Emma Thompson and Emmy Rossum and Jeremy Irons. Like,
it's kind of fun, the scenery chewing.
They are going to town with this material. I mean,
and your friend Margot Martindale.
Oh God!
Can I just tell you that the second Margot Martindale shows up carrying a live peacock, can you please recreate for me the sound?
I'm not gonna do it.
It was like a little schoolgirl going.
I love
Justin Bieber and showed up.
I love Margot Martindale.
With delight.
I did. I squealed with delight. I have loved Margot Martindale ever since Parisia Tem. But come on, she shows up holding a live peacock. I'm like,
with like feathers in her hair.
Yeah, I was I was in the tank at that point.
Yeah, and then like Jeremy Irons is like sitting down playing Chopin, speaking his very menacing Southern drawl. That's all fun when it's kind of wacky and over the top. It's fun. It's when like the serious machinery starts to grind into place and they have layer after layer of like, well, this has to happen, and then this has to happen.
And there's the inevitable like third act big special effects bonanza thing that happens.
Like
I would like to see this movie be more campy.
Right.
Like I felt like it's not quite campy enough.
Yeah.
I feel like the writer-director, Richard LaGravenese, who we interviewed and was very nice, we interviewed on the site, I think that he did a really good job adapting. I felt you could kind of tell where his writing kind of took over from the source material. And I felt like you got some intelligent stuff, like some intelligent dialogue that
definitely
in the source material.
Really well
really
none of us read the books, but according to the teen girls that we were questioning in the lobby afterwards, this movie goes in very different directions.
But what was interesting about that is that they were both like they
loved it.
Dumbfounded. Right, they were dumbfounded at how dramatically different it was from the books. But then they were like, no, this was good too. Like they were into that. It was rare to see.
Yeah, it was like watching the Twilight girls watch the end of Breaking Dawn Part 2, where they're like, "What?" and then also loving it.
Also, there was a child's innocence there that I like because so often if we like a book and we get the adaptation, we're so ready. If it's different, we hate it, leaving out that it might be good on its own.
Sure.
But the difference bothers us so much. But they were so ready to accept that they can like both things, even if they are different, which I liked. They were
like bubbly and cute, like, oh my god, and then this happens, and then this happens.
And even in the end, even in that final sort of the over the top and the machinery of sort of having to get the story in of which direction you're going and the spell, and who gives a crap about the spell, there was still, like, Emma Thompson was still, even at the end, managed to be, like, bring it back a little campy and make it fun, I thought, right at the moment where I was like, oh, come on, and then she was sort of, I thought sort of delightfully beaten. So I like that.
I like the idea that there's, not to get too into the weeds of spoilers, but there is a sacrifice involved on the part of the leads, which I admired. I wish the movie had maybe not double backed on it at the end to sort of let everybody leave the theater on a more up note.
Well, there has to be a sequel.
Yeah, well, of course, exactly.
But that sequel, they were set up for that sequel no matter what, without the doubling back.
Yeah, exactly. You could still have the sequel. In fact, all the more reason to want to find out what happens next. But that they even waded into that area for a little while. I respected the fact that they weren't just going to like let everybody off the hook.
Yeah, there's cool things happen in this movie. I mean, look, it was still about 16-year-olds falling in love and fantasies and casters. So there's a bounds to how good this can be. But
nobody sparkles in the sunlight.
No, but it's very, very southern, and the accents are a little all over the place, but you get used to them after a while. And,
I think it's solid. I liked it a lot. I gave it a 7.1, which is like a 14 for one of these movies.
Did it get extra points because we were all in the same theater together?
We had fun.
I liked it again. You missed last week. I was because you weren't here. I had such warm feelings last week because we all had like an
identity thief.
Like an identity thief because we all
got extra points because we were all together.
I wish I could have been there. I had to actually work. I hate that. Let's read your numbers.
7.1.
Okay.
6.5. Yeah, 6.5.
5.7.
6.8.
I'm really low now. I
know.
I want to be higher now.
Real quick.
Should I?
Those numbers are tough. Those numbers are tough. So doing that.
Should I say 6? Can I say 6 anyway?
You can't change now. I can't do that much math. 6.5.
No,
6.5.
It's kind of split. The critics are split on the tomato meter. It's only about 47% right now.
I think because they're going in expecting to hate it. I think that they don't have the generosity of spirit that I do.
I will tell you.
Let's not oversell it. This is not a perfect movie, but it's a lot more fun than you think it would be.
I will say that the consistent complaint seems to be it's either not campy or doesn't take itself seriously enough. Like it goes. The people that don't like it say that it's in the middle and doesn't do either well. I don't really agree, but that's what a lot of
I think it balances the two well. The Paperboy should have been campier.
If you have a daughter like between 10 and 15, you're not going to get a better movie to go with it. You could tolerate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely. All right. Thanks very much, everybody.
Bye.